Hey there, and welcome back. I'm Dr. Patrick Kingsep. I hope you've already watched my first video on life purpose. And if not, do check that one out before starting this one. It'll just make a lot more sense. Today, we're going to begin focusing on you, and I'll be asking you a series of specific questions to unlock your purpose and meaning in life. Now, before we get moving, don't forget to like, if you do, share, and if you haven't already, subscribe to my channel. Don't forget to touch the notification icon, as this will let you know when I publish new videos that may be of interest to you. Also, keep watching to the end of the video, as I'll give you a task to complete over the next week. This task is going to help you work towards a more purposeful life. Now, doesn't a purposeful life sound exciting? Now, here comes the fun part. Figuring out your purpose and then making a plan to follow that purpose. Creating a purpose project means developing your purpose with intentionality and embracing the goals with fearless enthusiasm. But we start with asking the question, what is your life's purpose? If you don't first spend time asking the questions, how can you possibly expect to find the answers? Knowing your purpose begins in knowing yourself. To get the most benefit from the following exercise, you will need to do a few things first. Find a quiet place to work where you won't be interrupted or easily distracted. Grab paper and pencil or pen. Writing by hand will help you to solidify your goals. Really listen to the questions carefully and pause if necessary. Then answer quickly as you can, taking as little time as possible. You're looking for that gut response. Now that you've got those things sorted, let's begin. Remember that this is supposed to be fun too, so don't stress too much about your answers. Just relax and enjoy learning a little bit more about yourself. Keep in mind, there are no wrong answers. You have an afternoon free and money is no object. What's the first thing you find that you want to do? When is the last time you completely lost track of time? What were you doing? Someone just asked you to be their mentor. What are they asking you to teach them? What were you naturally good at the first time you tried it? What kind of activity leaves you with this natural high? When you were a kid, what would you spend hours upon hours doing? Do you have a bucket list? What's on it? If you don't have one, what's the first thing that you put at the very top of the list? What are the things that you talk about most? You can change one thing about the world. What is it and why? What inspires you? Why? And of course, the next question is, what next? Learning your purpose involves a lot of analysis. Discovering why something is so appealing or essential to you is the key to finding your purpose. Let's go back over these questions in more detail, this time looking at your answer with an eye toward discovery. You have an afternoon free and money is no object. What's the first thing that you find that you want to do? What you gravitate toward is significant. We often ignore these indicators, telling ourselves that answers to questions like these make for fun fantasy, but don't have any reality in our lives. But what if they were? If the first thing you could think of was hiking the Alps, then it's time to follow up with several questions along the lines of, why do I need to accomplish this task? How much time would I need to prepare for this? What kind of money would I need to make this trip? By looking at a dream as a possibility, you're rewriting the dialogue and maybe finding a new purpose in your life. What seems impossible usually isn't as difficult as you think. Skipping that fancy coffee and putting the money saved into your alpine hiking fund instead will financially get you there a lot quicker than you think. If the issue is physical, then what do you need to get fit? Maybe it's time to join the gym, hire a personal trainer, and work out a hiking regime at home to prepare yourself for the journey. Dreams give purpose and allow ideas to become a reality. When is the last time that you completely lost track of time? What were you doing? When the mind is engaged, we tend to quit noticing the little things that we need to eat or sleep or even use the bathroom. When you're that engaged, you're generally doing something pretty important. What is that task? Is there something here that might be a purpose waiting to happen? Ask yourself, what is so riveting about this kind of task? How can that aspect be developed into a sense? Someone just asked to be their mentor. What are they asking you to teach them? When someone else asks you to teach them something, it's because they look at you as an authority or an expert on that subject. Chances have already happened in your life, so your answer might involve skills that you already have. Is it possible that these skills might hold a purpose for you? But it might be you have a dream to be considered an authority in something else. What did you choose and why? What are the steps required to become an authority in that subject? Is there additional learning that needs to happen? New experiences? Could it be that becoming this authority might be your purpose in life? What was it that you were naturally good at the very first time that you did it? While you shouldn't confuse talent with purpose, you might find that what you have already as an innate skill might be the purpose you're seeking. Are there things that just came quickly the first time you tried them? Are you an athlete, a linguist, a writer, a painter, a musician? Look at the things you're good at and see if there's inspiration there that might lead you to your purpose. The good news, if you pick something that you have a skill in already, you've won half the battle. The only thing left is to figure out how to apply that skill to the world around you. What kind of activity leaves you with this natural high? Have you ever finished a task or performance and felt that amazing, on top of the world, I can conquer anything kind of feeling? What caused that response? Was it in response to a new skill you'd mastered? Or was it because you'd completed something that was fiercely meaningful to you? When you were a kid, what would you spend hours upon hours doing? Were you an insect collector? Did you build things, explore the wilderness or your backyard, stay up all night in the summer to learn about the constellations in the sky? For a significant purpose, revisit your childhood and the things you loved best. Were there dreams you have forgotten or put away because you felt like they weren't possible? Is there a purpose there now? Do you have a bucket list? What's on it? And if you don't have one, what's the first thing that you'd put on it? Bucket lists are all about regrets. The basic premise of a bucket list is that if you don't do the things on them, you will regret them when you die. That's a pretty profound thought. What will you regret when you're gone? What can you do now to change that? Is something on that bucket list a purpose only waiting to happen? Start with accomplishing the things that are on that list. You will find that some are just one-time things that once accomplished, you're good, but some will draw you back again and again. These are the items that hold purpose. Also, you might want to try looking for the common denominators on your list. If all your bucket list items involve travel, for example, then maybe your purpose has more to do with a life on the road. than having the experience of going someplace specifics? What are the things that you talk about most? The things we talk about tend to be the things that interest us most. To clarify this response, you might want to talk to your friends and family. You might think you're discussing politics or the weather, but it might be that in reality, you're talking about the environment every single time. That might be a passion that you channel into a purpose. If you're still not sure, look at your social media. What are you posting about most frequently? Your purpose might already spelled out for you on Facebook, Instagram, or YouTube like I'm doing. You can change one thing about the world. What is it and why? We all know everything isn't perfect by a long shot. What bothers us most about our community, country, or society are those things we feel strongly about in the world. In those, you will find a purpose lurking. What is a wrong that you see that you need to put right? Is there something you can do to make it a reality? That's an easy question to get caught up in a whole lot of can'ts. So you're going to need some time to sit and carefully sift through your responses. Even the silly answers are going to count for something because they're not silly. Okay, now let's try a couple of examples. Some case studies, if you will. You dislike the people in charge of the government. You think the foreign policy, it's a mess, and the lawmakers at home, well, that much more. Well, you can't remove the senator from his seat physically. What can you do? Politics starts on a minimal level with letter writing campaigns that escalate from there. Maybe you want to take part in a protest or volunteer with a political campaign. Or it could be that your answer involves seeking office yourself. What are your actual goals, and how can you go about realizing them? Legally, of course. It could be the problem wasn't so much with the politician than the policy. That's where activism comes in, and it's a powerful tool. But if your answer seems silly now, stop a moment and think about it. Maybe you wanted to get rid of all mosquitoes. Why? Because they spoil the camping. What's important about that? Well, perhaps you're passionate about time spent with your family or in exploring the great outdoors. But maybe you're in the military somewhere, or someone you love is, and the bugs are a constant problem. What is your purpose then? In the case of the individual deployed, maybe your purpose is a campaign to make sure that soldiers have bug spray and other things from home that will make their service easier. What inspires you and why? The people that inspire us make us feel powerful. When we're near them or reading about them, we tend to feel like we can be as capable as they are, that we can do mighty things. Look at the aspect of this individual that inspires you the most. It might be that your purpose is within the biography of their lives. Maybe you can't find national parks like the famous President of the US, Teddy Roosevelt, but you can take an active part in taking care of them. Your task this week is to ask yourself all the above questions and answer them as honestly and as authentically as you can. Don't try to think of the right answer. Answer with the first thought that comes to mind. Now, it's helpful to write the questions down and your answers in a journal or notebook. Also, just use the notes section in your Samsung or your iPhone. Now, before I go, please like, share, and if you haven't already, subscribe to my channel. Don't forget to touch the notifications icon, as this will let you know when I put out new videos on all things psychologically related and minded. Thanks for watching. Bye for now.